I saw Jurassic World Rebirth and I had a nice time, but I realized I had as much fun watching this one as I have when I'm watching a Transformers or Resident Evil movie. And obviously, that's not really a compliment. With a title like Rebirth, and with the way they were marketing this one, I really thought I was in for a good one, you know? They were evoking the feel of a fresh start for the franchise, more similar in tone to the original movie. And well, after watching the film, the situation reminded me of the scene from the first Jurassic Park. I got in the ride, hoping to see something spectacular, and it just didn't show up.
Ellen.
Where's the good movie? I haven't necessarily loved the recent Jurassic World movies, but at least in retrospect, those had interesting concepts. I can't say much for the execution, but the concept of releasing dinosaurs into the modern world is inherently interesting. Rebirth, on the other hand, is not only a mediocre movie, but it's also sadly just an uninteresting one. And I want to talk about one giant point why I believe this movie is so devoid of anything substantial, and that is because of theme. Or its complete lack thereof, especially in comparison to the original Jurassic Park. You know, the one Rebirth is trying so hard to remind you of. This is Witch Alice and welcome to another video. For this one, we'll talk about how you end up writing an empty movie. We don't want that, do we? Let's get into it. Jurassic World Rebirth happens at a time in the world when no one really cares about the resurrected dinosaurs that much anymore. They've been around for a while, but life goes on. Because of the Earth's climate, most dinos live near the equator now, and that's where the movie takes place. A pharmaceutical company hires a group of desperate but skilled people to go to an island in dino territory to retrieve blood samples from 3 dinosaurs to use in medical research. We got Scarlett Johansson, who's a hired gun wanting to retire, so she's doing the mission for the money. Mahershala Ali, who's also a hired gun doing the mission for the money. And Jonathan Bailey, who wants to save his dinosaur museum. So he's also, you guessed it, doing the mission for the money. They go to the island, hilarity ensues. Obviously, movies are more than just what physically happens. Stories are more than just what's on the surface. Avengers is about heroes stopping aliens from invading the Earth, sure, but also, thematically, it's about larger-than-life people with big personalities putting aside their differences, learning to work and stand together for the greater good. This shot isn't just a group of superheroes ready to kick ass, it's also a group of people finally getting their shit together, and finally working together after spending most of the movie arguing and clashing against each other. Jurassic Park Rebirth has a lot of action set pieces, a lot of sequences where dinosaurs are attacking humans, and for an action movie that's cool, which is why I said I had a nice time. But the original Jurassic Park, and heck, even the original Jurassic World movie, had more underneath them than just action sequences. They had more to say, more than just, oh no, run from the big scary dino! Now in my videos, I really like giving examples and I really like comparing, so to hammer in Rebirth's emptiness, let's take a close look at the original Jurassic Park.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
The original Jurassic Park has a simple premise. A company brings back dinosaurs and builds a park. People go to the park, things go wrong, dinosaurs attack people. It's straightforward when you put it that way, and yet when you watch the movie, underneath all the action, the horror, and at the time groundbreaking CGI, underneath all the spectacle, you'll find a story built upon a solid thematic foundation. And that is the hubris of man and the chaotic quality of nature. It's a tragedy about humanity flying too close to the sun and finally falling. Yes, it's about a cutting-edge park.
We spared no expense.
And yes, it's about big teethy monsters. And yes, it's about a group of hot scientists. These things are cool and awesome, yes, but they're only as cool and as awesome as they are because the movie does the work to anchor them to something more concrete. The cutting-edge park isn't just a cutting-edge park, it's a result of human ambition. The big teethy monsters aren't just big teethy monsters, they're a result of morally questionable and reckless experimentation. Again, because of human ambition.
Gee, the lack of humility before nature that's being displayed here, staggers me.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Dinosaurs had their shot, and nature selected them for extinction.
The hubris of man allowing us to believe that we can defy nature. They wanted that park to be advanced and to be the pinnacle of human achievement and technology, so they automated the jeeps and centralized all the controls.
Really spectacular, spared no expense.
When things start to go wrong and our characters can't just drive the jeeps away to safety because they're locked to a track and can only be controlled automatically, we as audiences don't just feel scared for the characters, but we also get to engage with what the movie is trying to say. Hubris did this. This could have been avoided if we had ordinary jeeps. Our characters could have driven to safety if these jeeps were normal. But no, we had to have the coolest, newest, fanciest jeeps money could buy. To paraphrase, you were so concerned with whether or not you could have high-tech jeeps that you never considered whether or not you should. And that's the same with all of the dinosaurs. We could have just had a normal park with normal attractions and normal rides, but no, we had to bring back the long-dead dinos, because why not? The movie puts in the work thematically so that as audiences, when things go wrong, our reaction isn't just, oh no, big scary dinosaurs, but also, well, why the fuck would you do that? This is kind of your fault. Why would you do something that's maybe so ambitious and so brilliant, but also something so reckless and dangerous? Well, we could have avoided all this. This death was completely avoidable, but you just had to show off. Beneath the big action set pieces, there's something deeper that the audiences could engage with emotionally and intellectually. In Jurassic Park, dinosaurs breeding in the wild isn't just dinosaurs breeding in the wild. They're a point about the chaotic and unpredictable nature of nature. The dinosaurs shouldn't have been able to breed. They were all designed to be female, but life finds a way.
Life finds a way.
Now, Jurassic World Rebirth, in terms of theme, has none. Is nothing to say except, oh no, run from the big scary dino. Sure, it still continues the franchise, so technically the whole lessons about humanity's hubris and reckless scientific ambition are all still technically there, but the movie never does anything with them and barely acknowledges them. It doesn't use the pre-existing thematic foundations of the franchise or add any other concrete themes or concepts for itself. Maybe it's saying that access to medical breakthroughs should be free for everyone? Again, the characters in Rebirth go to the island where the dinosaurs are to harvest dinosaur blood for medical research. They're sponsored by a company, so the research is the property of the company, but along the way, Scarlett Johansson decides she should release the research to the world so everyone can access it freely. But this whole thing comes out of nowhere. It's Jonathan Bailey's character who proposes this idea to Scarlett, and before that, he never really shows any indication of this type of philanthropy. This plot point is underdeveloped as hell, and it's probably only talked about 3 times and in less than 5 minutes in the whole movie. Because the movie doesn't have a thematic foundation, everything that happens in it feels bluntly surface level and superficial. They look cool and fun and scary, and they are, but beneath all the spectacle, there's really nothing to engage with. The first Jurassic World kinda just brings back the themes from the first Jurassic Park movie, and honestly, you can criticize it for a lack of originality, but at least it was something. It was still about a greedy company and about reckless human ambition, sure, but at least it had that. It also gave it a more capitalism-oriented spin, by directly saying that the park owners wanted to make more money, so they started making hybrid dinosaurs and started experimenting more. So the movie was kinda saying that it was greed for more money that did all of this. Greed, bad. And again, that was something. At least that was something. Rebirth literally has nothing, and this lack of anything thematically solid is made obvious in the film's characters. They're all one-dimensional as fuck. But before we dive into that, if you're enjoying the video, please leave a like or a comment. I'm a small channel, and that would really help me out a lot. Thank you. Thank you, bestie. Thank you. Thank you, Diva. That would help me. Listen, I enjoyed Rebirth's cast, but only because of the actors. Narratively, none of these characters have any significant depth. Yes, they have backstories, sure, and monologues, so the movie was attempting to give them something, but if you cut all of that out, nothing in the movie would change. Back to Jurassic Park. Characters are important in movies, not only because they move the plot forward, but also because they can be used to flesh out themes. One way Jurassic Park tackles its themes so well is through John Hammond. In the movie, he's the representation of humanity's hubris and ambition.
Absolutely spectacular design, spared no expense.
On the opposite side of Hammond are Grant, Sattler, and Malcolm, academics, experts who, yes, are amused by the ambition of Jurassic Park, but still express that they're doing things too recklessly and too fast.
And therefore, how could you ever assume that you can control it? You have plants in this building that are poisonous. You pick them because they look good. But these are aggressive living things that have no idea what century they're in, and they'll defend themselves violently if necessary.
In what you're doing here, genetic power is the most awesome force the planet's ever seen, but you wield it like a kid that's found his dad's gun.
So here you have characters with different perspectives, arguing about what they want, what they know, and what they believe. I'm gonna bring back giant man-eaters that died 1,000,000 years ago to make money. Please don't do that. I don't know if that's wise. Even in Jurassic World, you had Claire that paralleled Hammond. They're both intentionally even wearing entirely light clothing. Claire was the one calling the shots at that park, making sure revenues were good. At the start of the film, she stood for science, innovation, and money. Throughout the course of that film, she goes through an arc that brings her over to the other side, to Chris Pratt's side. The dinosaurs are animals, and maybe we shouldn't have genetically modified them side. Now, Rebirth. Again, there is no theme, so what will your characters represent? What will they believe, and what will they fight for? What will they go through? Besides, I need to run away from the giant dinosaur trying to eat me, these characters really have nothing. Scarlett Johansson is a gun for hire that's looking to retire after her partner dies. She's desperate and wants to do a big job, so she goes to a dinosaur island in hopes of getting paid really well. but that's it. There's a background, but it goes nowhere. In fact, she makes a choice that goes against her motivations in the movie. They set up that she needs money, she wants to retire. But then remember, she ends up betraying the pharmaceutical company hiring her so that she could make the data for the medical research free, meaning she won't get paid at all for this job, meaning she did all this for nothing. And it's not like she had to go through this movie to make this choice. It's not like the movie presents her decision as an arc that she had to develop and go through. Her character is unchanged from the start of the movie to the end, except she just lost more friends to dinosaurs and lost her retirement money now. I won't single out each character, but they're all the same. There's some background, some motivation, but in the end, nothing significant or interesting is done with any of them. They just run from dinosaurs and that's it. And sometimes that is good enough. As I said, I had a nice time. Those things are cool and awesome. But looking at where this franchise started and looking at it now, is it too much to ask for better? I really like the colors in Rebirth, though. I think this is probably one of the prettiest, if not the prettiest movies of the Jurassic franchise. I really like the colors and I really like the cast. I wish they gave me more. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm out.